Hey guys, it's Jane Atkinson here. I wanted to share my morning coffee with you. It's actually tea, and share with you some of the things that I learned over this past year. 2017 has been just a phenomenal year here at Speaker Launcher, but not without setbacks. And I thought that it might be helpful for you um, to kind of see what some of the things that have happened, some of the lessons that I've learned because of those things that have happened. I thought about doing this as a Facebook Live video, and it's very difficult to change your settings on that video and get the right camera shooting. And so I just packed it in and said, okay, I'll just record a video, and hopefully you all can watch it at your leisure and maybe take home a couple of ideas for 2018. First off, massive gratitude for the people out there in the Wealthy Speaker and the Speaker Launcher community. I feel so lucky, so blessed that I have this amazing group of people around me. I have been in this industry for over 3 decades. It's crazy to say that. And I have developed some really strong relationships. That said, this year, I have some new friendships that I really think are going to last a lifetime, and I'm really excited about those as well. So let's talk about some of the things that happened this year. I'm so very proud of the event that we ran in November in Minneapolis. We featured two high-level speakers, Ryan Estes and Kendra Hall, who are clients of mine. And the event was thrilled with the feedback, with the outcome, with how everybody felt. Nobody wanted to leave the room. It was such a strong event, but I learned a big lesson about that event because guess what? Bottom line, it really wasn't very profitable. And so there are some things that fall out of that. And when you run your own events, I think that you always have to be looking at the bottom line and kind of decide what your minimum is going to be. It typically takes anywhere from 2 to 6 months to plan an event. It's massive amounts of work. And so I always liken it to, okay, well, I did that much work and I could have just signed on 2 clients and that would have been the same. And so you really have to take a look at the bottom line on events. One of my big learnings was we were in the desire to run a high-end event, an upscale event. We had it at the JW Marriott. That was probably more expensive than we should have chosen for this particular event. And we provided on 2 days breakfasts for people, and that's a lot of expense. So next event, if you're involved, just keep an eye out because you're going to see us cutting a few of the things that we did in the past in order to try to make our events more profitable. The more profitable they are, the more events that we can do that can bring people in. And I think you're going to be super excited about our 2018 event. Maybe this is a little save the date for the first event of the year. It's going to be February 23 to 25 in Florida, and you will be seeing some marketing coming out on that at the early parts of January. I'm really excited. The event is really designed for people to that beginning to intermediate. So if you've been in the business a while, this is one that you'll want to keep your eyes on. Not necessarily for seasoned speakers. We're really putting seasoned speakers over into the private coaching programs with me. And so anyway, I digress. Learning how to kind of cut your losses and move forward on events and make sure that they are profitable is kind of tip number one. The next thing that we did was we launched the Wealthy Speaker Daily Success Planner and Journal. And we had a few setbacks on that as well. You know, you think when you kind of are looking in through the window at somebody's life or their business, you think that they've got it all together. And of course, I mean, those of you who have been with me for a long time know that I don't. I share everything. I'm usually pretty transparent. Well, I want to share with you what the first journal looked like because It was awful. It was awful. Okay, this was textbook. Look, that is bigger than my head. This is actually where we ended up landing. So we ended up landing at 6 by 9 size, which was the same size as the Wealthy Speaker book and the Epic Keynote book. It made perfect sense to go with that right out of the chute, but we never got there originally because we tried to pack in a lot of room for writing and a lot of material. So we had to first we used a supplier that I wasn't thrilled with. Ingram Spark did this first rendition, and we weren't really happy with any part about that entire transaction. And when they arrived to me, I was at one of my women's powerhouse women's retreats, and I was just like so heartbroken when I opened the box. You know, so many months of work went into this, and I opened the box and it looks like this giant textbook that's really like a really hard course, and I just wanted to cry. And so we went back to the drawing board and we ended up with this. We went with a different, I'm not sure if you can see that very well. It looks a little glary on my screen. Hopefully you're seeing it. We went with Book Baby on round 2. I could not be more thrilled with how they walked me through the entire process with one person. That meant so much to me, and shout out to Patrick. He was awesome. If you ever go to Book Baby, hopefully you'll get Patrick. And we cut back a little bit. We actually made it a 6-month planner so that you could travel with it. I mean, nobody wanted to lug this sucker on a plane. It is, I mean, I thought about throwing it away or putting it in the recycling bin because I just don't want to be reminded about it. But I thought, no, you keep that as a reminder, and I'm probably going to use it as a doorstop at some point. So let me share with you some of the things that, as a result of that, the lessons were. Number 1, don't be afraid to change suppliers when you're not happy with what's happening. And when I changed suppliers, everything seemed to take on a turn for the better when it came to this product. And I have to tell you, this is one of my favorite things that I've ever put out to the market. I use it every day. I really designed this because I wanted it for myself. I had tried other planners and they weren't exactly what I wanted, and so I designed this one for me. And so of course I love it, but I'm also really proud of it, and we're getting really, really good reviews about it. So lesson number 1 was don't be afraid to change suppliers. But also lesson 2 is don't be afraid to go back to the drawing board if things aren't as you want them to be when you first start to put them out to market. So we ended up with a beautiful, I don't know how many pages, about 260-page book, and it's really good that you can take it on the plane with you now. There's a lot of really awesome time management tips and tools in the front end of the planner, and things that I think if you start to use them, you will find really help accelerate you in 2018. And what do I mean by that? That's really the last lesson that I want to share with you. And that's about marking your wins. That's something that we do with my clients. I make sure on their check-in forms, they're telling me what went right for them in the 30 days since we talked last, or 2 weeks, or however long the time period is since we talked. And the reason why that's so powerful is that when you mark your wins, when you recognize the things that have gone well in your business, it's not only the law of attraction goes to work and you're attracting more good things to you, but you're also building momentum. And when I do my end of year wrap up in the Wealthy Speaker Daily Success Planner and Journal, there's going to be a lot of really great things to report. I don't know how many of you watched The Big Bang Theory, but Leonard and Penny were just, he was jealous because his brother put out this fabulous newsletter saying how fabulous his life was. And so he said, well, I'm going to do that. I'm going to document how fabulous our year was. And they started to try to think of what things that they did that year. And there really wasn't much on the list. Stay married and stay employed was all that they had on their list. Well, I know that we all can do a lot better than stay married and stay employed. And so when I go through this at the very end of the year, I really want to document all the cool things that we've done, because what that does is it sets us up for more cool things happening next year. We had a lot of really great personal things that happened this year. And there have been years where we've been to 7, 8, 9 funerals in one year, and it's been a pretty rough year. So I want to give such gratitude for the fact that my mom is healthy. She's 88 years old, and we have been able to travel so much. We have a new puppy. We did lose a puppy, so that was a bit of a setback. And we miss her dearly, our Molly. But we really, one of the big goals that we had in our lives, my husband and I, on our bucket list was to own a property in the north on a lake. And so we actually achieved that goal this year. That's partly, very much in part, due to the business that I run and really working hard in the last few years to achieve some of these bigger goals. So being able to walk out of the house 20 steps and step onto the boat and go out into the lake, or step onto the paddleboard and go out into the lake. It's just amazing. And those are the types of things that are going to go on the list at the end of year roundup for us. So I would ask you, what's going to go on your end of year roundup? And what are the big lessons that you learned this year? When you take a setback, like my giant textbook planner, and you figure out, okay, well, what were the really big lessons from that, and what will I never do again? When you take the setbacks, like not having the level of profit that we wanted for the event, okay, what are we going to do better next time? What are we going to learn from this? It really helps change up your framework for those things. They don't feel like failures. They just feel like lessons. And for 2018, I hope that you'll take the lessons from 2017 and have the most stellar year. And with that, I'll say, see you soon, wealthy speakers. Bye for now, everyone.